Hola chamas y chamos, welcome back to Alvaro Dev Labs. Today we're gonna continue our journey by creating a sushi recipe app using Nuxt tree and Storyblok. This is a part 3 of the series, so I totally recommend you to check out the first 2 videos if you haven't done yet, because we're gonna continue with the same application that we were doing. Before we continue with the video, I want to congratulate the whole Storyblok team, which are the ones that sponsored this channel, because they launched the version 2 of their product, and I have to tell you, it is amazing. So last week they had the launch event for the version 2. They created a live stream to highlight the new features. So it was really nice. Like Dominic gave a little bit of the history of Storyblok and how they started. Also, Arisa showcased the new visual editor and all the features that come with, a lot of UI enhancements. And then Josephine made an amazing demo about content organization, especially with the asset manager, which brings a lot of new features and cool stuff. Then a really nice demo for audience experience by Samuel and a lot more. Especially, I really like the explanation on how they are achieving this technological wise. It was a demo by Sebastian. And I know all the effort behind and the great work that you did for launching this version 2. So congratulations. So if you want to watch the launch event video, I will put the link on the description below. And if you want to see the version 2 in action, check out the other videos in this tutorial series about Nuxt tree and Storyblok, because I have been using version 2 from the beginning. And today we're gonna use it too. This video is sponsored by Storyblok. Looking for a CMS solution that is great both for marketing teams and developers? Look no further. Storyblok is the headless CMS solutions that you always wanted to have. See how easy it is to change content for your website with a real-time visual editor, creating a delightful customer experience for your teams. Go from a content update to production in no time. Storyblok is easily integrable with multiple tech stacks, making your dev team's life easier. Go and try it for free at storyblok.com. In the previous episode, we learned how to create a new recipe using the Storyblok content types. We also learned how to upload some images for our recipes by using the asset manager, like this one. We learned how to add some alt text and title for those images. And also we link them, each one of them, to a certain category. Then we learn how to fetch them on our landing page and also display them as a grid of cards. So today we're gonna create for each one of the recipe a single page that is dynamic, so it will fetch the information from the story on the Storyblok, and then we will render the image of a recipe plus a card that will contain the title. We will enhance our recipes with more fields like the time of cooking and also how many people serves, like how many comensals. I don't know if it's the same in English though. I know in Spanish it's comensales, so I don't know in English. And we are gonna create a field for rich text editing that will contain the ingredients in from our list. Also, we will I didn't add it in the design, but we are gonna add some text also with the rich text editor to define each one of the steps. So let's jump into it. First of all, let's enhance our recipe schema by adding some more fields. So if we go to the blog library here, and then we want to edit the recipe one, right? So right now we have the title, we have a media or the image of the recipe, and also the drop down with the category. Let's add something to define how much time the recipe needs to be cooked or prepared, and also how many commensals. Yeah, how many people will eat. So for that, I'm going to create prep time, probably. It's a good name. And we're gonna define a number. So let's add it. Okay. I will put it just before the category to organize a little bit better the content. Okay, so I just searched how you translate comensales into English, and it's not commensals at all. It's called diners. I guess it's called that way. I don't know. So I'm gonna put it like this, diners. Okay. If somebody knows how to say it, please let me know in the comments. I'm making myself embarrassing here. For this one, we are gonna set also a number, how many people will eat, okay? So that's fair enough. Yeah, I was searching the translation here. Okay, so also we want a field for the ingredients, so ingredients, and I'm gonna use rich text editor for this one. You can also use Markdown, but in this tutorial, let's focus on rich text editing. And let's also put the content itself. So the steps or any comment that the person that is creating this recipe wants to share. So it's gonna be a rich text also. Let's close the blog library, and now let's update each one of the recipes that we had before with the new fields that we just created. I don't know how much it takes to prepare ramen. I'm gonna say like 35 minutes, okay? I'm gonna invent this one also, so dinners are gonna be like 4. Right now it's going crazy because I'm doing it with my scroll in the mouse, but I'm just gonna put like 4. And if I scroll down, here we have the ingredients as a rich text editor, and that allowed you to have this here with a toolbar of all the different formatting options that you have for text, including headings, paragraph, and stuff. Here, for example, we have 2 of them that we are not really going to use because we are creating a recipe, and this are more for like creating tutorials, IT related tutorials or technology dev related tutorials where you might want to paste some code, right? So we also can customize that. We can go here and we can select the ones that we want. So in this case, I'm gonna leave the bold italic, strike through, underline, some headings, the list ordering in horizontal rule. We have some links, and also we have the ability to put in images, components, which is really cool because this one allows you to use the blocks that you have in your space and insert them in the content in the rich text editor, and also you can paste some markdown if you want to. So let's save this and go back here. I'm gonna copy and paste the ones, I'm gonna copy and paste the ingredients that we have from the design, okay? And I'm gonna save this one here. For the rest of ones, I'm just gonna copy and paste. For this, I'm gonna say 20. Commands of 4 also, and I'm gonna just copy and paste the same. Well, let's be a little bit more creative. We're talking about sushi, so we need, I don't know, 400 grams of rice, 50 kilos of salmon, because we need a lot of salmon, and this one does, yeah, and a lot of crispy stuff for toppings. Amazing, what a chef. So I'm gonna save this one, and for the trio of mochis, I'm gonna say prep time, I don't know, 300 minutes, dinners too, and ingredients. I know it's made of rice, like they have this amazing ritual where somebody smashed them and the other person is like preparing them. It's really cool. Check it on YouTube. When I hear, I'm gonna say Donna because I don't know. Okay, so we have our content updated. Let's now create the pages on Nuxt. Here we have our awesome sushi recipe app called SushiWood. And if we go down, we have the grid for each one of our recipes. So what we want to do is, right now, if we click any of them, it's not going to any navigation route to see the whole detail of the recipe. That's what we want to create. So to do that, let's go back to VS Code, and we need to create something that's called a dynamic route, okay? So inside pages, we are gonna create a new file, and it's gonna be let's say I want to do it between recipes, okay? So we are gonna have a recipes path, okay? And inside of it, we're gonna use a square brackets, and we're gonna put the parameter that we want to pass, okay? In this case, slug. So I'm gonna repeat. This is the path that we're gonna use to hold all the recipes, and this is gonna be the how do you say, the way of saying to Nuxt that we want a route that is dynamic and that we are gonna pass a parameter called a slug. Okay. If you don't know what the slug is for example, if you have trio of mochis, right? It's gonna be translated in the URL, or the way of using in the URL is by using trio of mochis, like this. So all the spaces are replaced by a dash, and it's everything in lowercase. So I just deleted the example here and also hide the sidebar and made everything a little bit bigger so you can see the code better. And we are going to create a basic view component here. Let's remove the initial template. And what we want to first do is to get this parameter that we're passing, which is gonna be the name of the story, okay? So to do that, we're gonna use the use route component, the use route composable. So it's gonna be use route, okay? And this is gonna give us the information of the current route. So we can deconstruct and get the slug here, and if I put it on the template, we might see the one we need. So if we go to recipes, a healthy ramen, we're getting the healthy ramen here, okay? Next step, we're gonna go to use recipe composable, and we need one that allows us to fetch by the slug, right? So we are gonna create another function like this one. So I'm gonna put it just below. Async function, okay, I like this, but fetch recipe by slug, and here we're gonna pass the slug, okay? So far so good. Of course, if we already have them on a state, like we could be saving this in a state and then just searching for it, but if you jump into that specific page by reloading, then it will not work, right? So let's just fetch them here. I'm gonna use a try catch for properly checking the errors that we might have. This one is extra, yeah. And we need to do something like this one, okay? Const data, so I'm gonna copy and paste this here. So we are gonna fetch using the Storyblok API, CDN stories, the ones that starts with recipes, but we are going to pass this here by slugs, everything inside plus a slug. So that will allow us to pass the story name as a slug, okay? So that's gonna be pretty much it. What we want to retrieve with this is a story. So this is gonna be data, and this is gonna return an array of stories. So we want the first one, and we might just want to return it right away. So we're gonna return the story here. Let's see if it works actually. So here we are going to use fetch a recipe by a slug from use recipes. That's beautiful. We are gonna fetch recipe by slug using this slug here. It's complaining about something. Let's see if it does not exist on. Yeah, we probably are not returning it, right? So make sure that in your composable you're returning it at the end, okay? I don't know, the camera is doing something really weird with the light. I don't know. Okay, so we go back here and we need to pass the slug, but it's not a signal, so okay, let's do as a string. Okay, that's fine, but this, we need to do something with it, right? So it's gonna be const story equal this, and let's see what happens if we put this story here. Okay, we do have something. So this is the story being fetched. Let's go to the inspect mode, and I'm going to increase the size to make sure that you can actually see it. Okay, and in the network tab, let's fetch again and see. So healthy ramen, where is the, I think it's this one, version draft. Yeah. So here we have the stories like this one, and we have only one. Okay, we did this here, and we're getting our story by the slug. Okay, we have all the info here. So let's translate this data into a UI. Before we start with the UI part, normally in these tutorials that are more focused on how to fetch data, how to create it in a Storyblok, I normally suggest you can skip the UI part where I do the markup and the styling, only if you're interested in seeing it. But in this case, stay with me because we will check how to render the rich text field, which needs a specific component to use it. So keep with me, don't skip this part. Okay, seems that I managed to have this a little bit cleaner so you can check better the code. I removed or hide all the bars that VS Code have, and here I have a small browser with our single page to be able to preview what we're doing. Okay, so what we need a div, right, as a single root element, because if not, Nuxt is gonna do funny stuff with the route. And instead of here, I'm gonna create like a header probably for the article and for the recipe, and inside of it, and here and here, let's put a if of the story, so only if the story is available. Okay, we are gonna set an image, and the source is gonna be, we check here, content, media, file name. So story, content, media, file name, and alt is gonna be the same but with alt. So I'm gonna just copy and paste here, create it like a property, and it's gonna be all. Let's save. Okay, here we have our image. Also, I'm gonna add a class just to style it a little bit around it, LG. Okay, looks better now. Maybe we can take care of the aspect ratio. So if I put aspect square, I think it was, it's gonna just put it as a square. See if it's something. Yeah, cool. Okay, and the other part is gonna be just a basic div with card style. So I think we have our recipes list here. So let's just copy and paste exactly the same here. Overflow headless shadow MG. Okay, that's fine. Just gonna create the div real quick and just copy and paste this here. And as an h2, let's use the same thingy here as an h2. Okay, instead of here, unless that instead of an h2, I'm gonna put an h1 because it's the first like a title of the page, so it needs to be a headline one. And what I'm missing here is probably content title. So yeah, healthy ramen, but I don't know why the styles are not kicking in. Now they're kicking in. Okay, I need it to refresh. Cool. What else do we need? We need like a padding because it's really like narrow, and also I don't know why it's not refreshing the view. I don't know why. Okay. Healthy ramen. So what else do we have in the design? Let's go to Figma. I'm not gonna create this button. It was just for the design, but I do want to add this part here and this part here. Okay. So let's go back to it. In order to add icons, so before we continue, I want to show you how we're gonna include icons on our application. So if we go to Figma, for the metadata that we have here for the recipe, that it says how much time it takes to prepare it and also how many diners they have, I put some icons. Okay, so we could do two things. We could here in Figma, I use the Iconify plugin, and I could export the SVG and import it into our application. That will be one way, but I will show you a different one. So you remember we were using unoCSS, right? So unoCSS has another preset that we can use for this. If we go here and say preset icons, okay, and we imported it from unoCSS right here, we'll be able to use icons. If you don't have it installed, I think, let's go here. We can do npm install at unoCSS / preset icons, and also because we're using Iconify, we need to specify which library of icons we're going to use. In this case, we're using Carbon. Of course, you could, here in the documentation you can see, you could install all of them by doing Iconify /JSON, but it's gonna weigh more like around 130 megabytes, so I don't recommend you to do that. Let's check again that these icons are Carbon, so this one is and services also. Let me see just the names, time, and user avatar. Perfect. Okay, so I already installed them, so that's why I'm not gonna install them again. And here in the story, I'm gonna remove here and go back here. Okay. Let's create a UL and a LI for our specs here. Class, well, flex, just to begin with. Let's see afterwards what we need. And this one, I'm going to use also flex. I'm going to use item center because I want the icon and the name of the property to be aligned and the result. So the way of using the icon is by creating an I element, and in the class you use I dash Carbon on the name of the library, icon library, and then the name of the icon itself. So in this time is time, and I have a pretty cool library installed in VS Code that allows you to preview all the icons with the Iconify. Okay, this is made by Anfu. Okay, so inside here we're not gonna set anything, so it could be even self-close. And yeah, in the content I don't remember how we call it actually, so let me remove this here. It's gonna be prep time, so it's probably prep time like this. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it is, but I cannot see the icon though. Now I can see it. Okay, we also want to change the color. It's gonna be like text gray 800 most probably, something like that, less 600. Come on, refresh. Where you are not refreshing. Here I'm gonna put means. I'm gonna copy and paste this part here, another li, and this one is gonna be the diners. So we want to say like serves for that many diners. Okay, here, and the icon, I think it was use carbon user. Yeah, Well, we can use this one. It's okay. So let's refresh. Yep. Okay, so we can even given this width of 1.5 of it, and then justify between. That will be fine. Okay. Or instead of doing this, maybe I just going to add some margin on the layer right, like this. Why is not updating? It's making me mad today. Come on. So now it comes to the really interesting part. You remember that we talked about the ingredients part. It's a rich text field and we need to somehow render it on the front. So what happens here if after the UL I use pre-tag and just prompt it? Okay, so it's gonna be a story, content, ingredients. So we're gonna see that it's a JSON object of type doc that contains some things inside. It's just basically an array of the different elements that we use on the rich text editor here. So this is an heading, H1, and unordered list or bullet list. So that's exactly what we're gonna see here. This is type bullet list. It has a content of each one of our ingredients, ramen noodles, another one for the garlic, another one for the fish stock, and so on. Okay, so we need somehow to parse this into HTML elements, and in the case that it has view components, also into view components, right? So the way of doing it, there are several ways. One of them is using the Storyblok SDKs. They have parsers integrated, and then you will need to use the directive of HTML. I normally use this library here from Marvin. It's called Storyblok Rich Text View Render. Okay. To install it, make sure you install the 3.2.1. Okay. So if we open the terminal here and we go here, make sure that you install this one. Okay, I already installed it. So I'm gonna copy this, but if you use this rich text render right away, it's not gonna work. So what you will need to do is create a plugin for Nuxt, because this is a view plugin. Okay. How do we do that? We can go here and just create another folder called plugins, and inside of it we're gonna create another one called Storyblok.ts. We're gonna support a function called define Nuxt plugin, perfect. That is gonna pass us the construct parameters, and we need the one for Nuxt app actually. That's fine. We're gonna return this, and we need to use this one to install. So we're gonna from the library. Let me just take out the sidebar, right? So we need this plugin object function. Sorry, it's a function. Okay, and we need to use Nuxt app, the view app, use plugin, but it's a function, so we use it like this. And then in our slug.view, let's remove this and put the rich text element here. This one accepts a prop called document, and we're gonna pass our document, which is content ingredients. Okay, let's refresh here. Something happened. Okay, let's see if we need to restart this, because we created a plugin. Plugins Storyblok, so it should be okay. Let's see what is happening. So we cannot read properties of undefined. Okay, I think I made a mistake. It's not the construct this, it's just directly this, might be. Yes, that was the issue. Okay, so here we have our, I'm gonna use the full browser now. Let's inspect it with the DOM inspector. And you will see now that we have a properly some HTML text. Now I see an error. For example, we used an H1 for this one. So maybe we want to change in here in the Storyblok content, we want to change it for a headline 2, save. And then let's go back, refresh. Let's check the ingredients one. Now it's an H2, so that's better, right? Okay, cool. So next step will be to actually style this, right? So, and the page is looking not that good if we use the desktop view. So let's go back to VS Code. I'm not gonna do side by side anymore. And this is the header. So I'm gonna use a class of container and MX auto. So we can center this, that's better. And also for now, I'm just gonna put a flex. So we have, maybe I can do it right now, and instead of flex, just position relative. And then this one, absolute. Okay. I can also put something like that, and then write 0. Ooh, doesn't look that good. So we have the header and the container. Oh, of course. So instead of here, I need to put it in the header. It will be better. Okay. And probably top. Let's put top 4. Okay, so we need to correct the padding. It's too narrow, and also I think I'm gonna put like 2/3 here, and the padding like 8. That would be nice. Too much width. Let's go back to this one. Okay, well, it looks kind of similar, right? Okay, so we have the healthy ramen. We have this part here. Also, I'm going to use a margin bottom here, and probably border bottom. I think it was like this, and border gray 300. Okay, but it's not taking the correct one. If I put this, okay, now it's doing something else. Okay, so maybe here we can put a padding of padding bottom 4, and we put this as 400. Okay, that's a little bit better. Cool. So how do we style the rich text render? One thing that I like about the unoCSS is that it comes with a lot of presets. So let's go back to unoCSS config, and here we're gonna use another one, which is presetTypography, like this, and we can import this from here. Okay, let's save. Let's see if it will work. So it adds like a class that is called pros. So let's see if that class is working. So pros, and let's refresh. So it is not working because, okay, so I have to put, yeah, it doesn't, I cannot put it here. Maybe I can put a div here with the class, and then inside of it we put the rich text render. Okay, that's better. So this is going to automatically add some typography styles for the headings, the lists, etc., some presets. So it's going to look like this. You can override them. For example, we have a H2 here, but to be fair, is too big. And this one is 16 pixels, and this the heading 2 is, where is it? Okay, like this. Well, it's kind of okay. Maybe we can reduce it, but it gives you right away these styles. We do want the same text gray, so maybe we can actually add it instead of here and here. We can add it to the whole thing. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay, cool. Alright, so we have our single page. How we navigate to it, because for now we have been passing the URL manually, but if we go back to the home page, we probably want also to create a recipes page. Okay, we can do that, but I want to navigate from the landing page into each one of the single page, right? So if I click here, I will go to tree of mochis. If I click here, we'll go into the single page that we were seeing before. Okay, so how do we do what? We go to index.view. So we have a Storyblok component. Yeah, because we have the grid as a list, right? The recipes list. Okay. So here we have some articles. I'm going to use the H3 as the nuxt-link. Okay. So I'm gonna put the nuxt-link just inside. Okay, like this, and we need a function that transform the name of the, well, I don't know. I don't know if we need it actually. Let's check something. So it's gonna be a recipes. Probably we need a template string. So recipes, and I want to see if we can use something from the object that comes from a Storybook. So let me just check with the view dev tools. Here, so blog, interactive, okay, recipes, fine. Content full slug. Okay, so we have something called full slug that we could use, and we don't need to transform anything. That's even better, and we can use the slug. So, okay, I think I'm going to use only the slug because I already have this done. So it's gonna be content slug, maybe. No, probably is in the first part. So I'm going just to put this. Let's see if it works actually. Okay. So healthy ramen. Yeah, it's working. Nice. Let's go back and let's check another of the pages. Tree of mochis. Okay, perfect. So this is completely dynamic. It's taking the story that we're fetching. And that's how we navigate from the landing page. So let's get into the final step of this tutorial, and what is a recipe without the steps, right? So we are gonna add another field, rich text field, and we are gonna add some steps to our recipe. To do that, I'm selecting the crunchy seed salmon and cream rolls, and I'm gonna open block library here, and I'm just gonna add the steps. Okay, this is gonna be a rich text. I can do a similar, well, it's actually taking the other one. That's pretty cool. Okay, for the toolbar. So I didn't save it because I'm awesome. So let me create it again. Okay, ingredients. So why is not a, I need to add it and then save it. Okay, we can close here. Let's go back here and I'm gonna paste this. So we are gonna use probably head 3 for the titles, headline 3, headline 3, headline 3. And actually I'm going to copy and paste it. It's gonna be quicker. Something like this. Okay, so I copy and paste some random stuff from a sushi recipe, okay? But it will be even nicer if we add some images, right? So for the step 1, it's talking about making the sushi rice, let's upload something. So let's go to the new asset manager and let's upload a new image. So I have to go to the correct page, right? The correct directory, right? Where are you? Videos, Nuxt, okay. Okay, this one, open. Remember always to put like some meaningful alt text for accessibility. So this is preparing the rice for sushi. Okay, save. Load. We're probably gonna add another one. So let's upload another. Let's use this one and this one. Okay. So this is gonna be sealed the salmon piece. Well, I prefer it raw, but it's okay. And for this one, I'm not gonna set it. Okay, so let's select this one. Okay, and as you can see, it's part of the rich text editor. That's fine. It has some error here. Cool. So I'm gonna add the other one. Okay, this one. And yeah, for this one also. Flip it over. Okay, the recipe has a lot of errors. Huh. Okay, so we save it. And how do we show it here? Because if I refresh, nothing will happen, right? Because we need to use the rich text, the rich text render it again. I'll go back here. I'm gonna close this one. We don't need it. So we need to use another rich text render. I don't know why I have so much problems pronouncing that, but it's okay. So we have it here, and instead of content ingredients, we are gonna put the steps. Let's put this here, save, and let's see what happens. Okay, we have an error. That's fair. Reading type, okay. Did we save it? Okay, cannot read properties of undefined. It is steps, right? So we put the steps. Oh, a step. Okay. Now if we save again, please work. Come on, refresh. Be nice. Okay, I know what happens. That the name of it, of the field itself. Okay, so the problem is that we define it as a step first. So we can change it here, and it's warning and changing the name can take a few minutes to update all content items. Okay, that's fine. Let's see how much takes. Probably save it again. Okay, so it's saying fallback node because of stories, content, steps is empty. You know what? Oh, it erased everything. No. Huh. Okay. We have to do that again. It's okay. You can skip this part if you want. Save. Let's go back here. And we have our steps for our recipe. That's super awesome. And that's pretty much for today's video. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I really like the combination of using Nuxt-3 and Storyblok I'm using in several projects, including my portfolio. And don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. It's good for your health. It will make you cold with less bugs. Have a happy summer! Before we start with the UI part, normally in these tutorials that are more focused on how to fetch data, how to create in a Storyblok, I normally suggest you can skip the UI part where I do the markup and the styling, only if you're interested in seeing it. But in this case, stay with me because we will check how to render the rich text field, which needs a specific component to use it. So keep with me, don't skip this part.